Good evening, reality TV lovers. How are you all doing tonight? My name is Alicia. Hey, girls and guys, and I'm the host of Black Girls Den Podcast, a safe space for women to be real, raw, and relatable. And today I'm introducing a new series called Girl Did You Watch? Which is where I'm interviewing the cast from some of our favorite shows that I review on Saturday mornings. And today we have none other than Keke from the Never Ever Met season 2. She is one half of the couple. It was her and Brandon. But I'm so excited to bring her on here so she can share her truth. Make sure y'all like this. Make sure y'all share. Make sure y'all comment. So stay tuned because Keke is coming soon.
Hey, hey,
Hello, Keke.
hey. How
Hi.
are you, Alicia?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's storming, so I'm as good as I can be. I'm
I
hilarious.
understand.
I
Well,
don't do storms.
I know. I hate storming. I hate it. So I definitely feel you. I want to say thank you so much for coming on the Black Girls In podcast to share your story and spill a little tea, have a little fun. But I was gonna say I really enjoyed watching the Never Ever Met, and so I wanted to be able to share people with behind the scenes and talking to people about their experience who actually went through it. We see
Right.
everything on the show, but you have the behind the scenes and everything like that. So I have some audience questions. I know, people want the truth and, here's some tea. So I want to take it back to the beginning though. Let's talk about like how did you and Brandon get casted for the show?
How did we get casted for the show? So first of all, thanks for having me. Thanks for watching and everything, um, and taking the time out to review. But how did we get casted for the show? So pretty much, me and Brandon had been talking for a little while, and of course we never met. And
Mhm,
I so I had watched a little bit of the first season, right? And I
mhm,
thought it was funny because you watch and you're just like, how did these people, talk this long and then meet? And whole
mhm.
time I'm like, oh, easy. So I saw that they were casting, that they were looking for, casting for couples, and I just thought it was funny, that I would come across it. And I asked Brandon, you know, and I wrote in. Well, I actually wrote in first, and then I asked Brandon, was he okay with it?
Oh, did he ever watch the show? Do you know like if he ever watched it?
He didn't watch the first season,
Oh,
so I had to do some convincing when I sent it over.
okay. Okay. So do you truly believe like nobody has ever met?
I do.
You
I do
do.
actually,
Okay.
because just based off of like first impressions when we first got there, and just how the feeling of the first night,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure everybody was fresh into it. Yes.
Okay, okay. Shannon says, "Hey, Kiki, your makeup is gorgeous. It sure
Oh,
is. You
thank
are both
you.
beautiful. Thank you so much for joining. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments. Okay." All right, I just wanted to ask that because sometimes you don't know, like reality TV, they could do anything. You hear that people, it could just, they just not meet. They just may need people for the show, right? So
Right.
that's what I want to ask. So, getting into the show, we seen that it was a lot of focus when it comes to you and Brandon. There was a lot of focus on like, you're drinking and like, the secret of you and the ex. But I wanted to ask you, what were some things we didn't get to see between you and Brandon, like that the production didn't show?
The production didn't show a lot. I feel like our story lacked a lot actually. So one misconception is everybody was like, "Oh, you didn't like him," or "I didn't see
Mhm.
any chemistry in this." Like me and Brandon were really cool. Like, yeah, he annoyed me a lot with the drinking thing, but we cuddled a lot. We really had a good time. Like, he was, he was pretty cool. Now I will say they left
Mhm.
out a lot of the moments where like, because I'm always like, Brandon wasn't nice to me, or Brandon this, Brandon, he had his moments. He was very moody, like very moody, and it would be a lot of times where I feel like watching it back. I'm like, dang, I look like the bad guy, but they're showing they wouldn't show like the little petty stuff that he would say to me or
Mhm.
something. They would just show me reacting to it. And it looked like I was just,
Like,
upset.
yeah.
Not you never saw when I was provoked. You only saw my reactions a lot. And that
mm,
bothered me.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like we did kind of see that when you were provoked. Cause I mean, he kept saying, he's like, dang, you gonna drink, like, dang, you gonna drink again, like, you gonna, I'm like, dang, boy, like, is you the drinking police? Like,
He he was
like,
the Prosecco police and the Riesling Wrangler. Like it was bad.
like, child, she can't have no drink. Like, come on now. So how
It
did you
was
feel about that like portrayal? It was kind of just like, that's what I feel like. I feel like it was a lack of depth because it was just like, okay, she drinks and then she lied about her ex or whatever. But yeah, like they didn't show that much. So how do you feel about being portrayed as like all you do is drink?
it was to be honest, it was kind of heartbreaking because you go into this experience and it's like, yeah, I'm getting to meet him, but also, I'm a lot of people don't ever get to be on TV, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So to see it back and be able to share like this experience and let, my family, my friends, everybody see it, to go on and I don't want to say I'm the villain, but I know that I'm not an alcoholic. I can't even remember the last time I had a drink. It's been months. And at the time, I was a bottle girl. I was a bartender, so I don't drink at work. I'm always around it, and I don't have to, you know, I don't have to drink a lot. So I come in, and I kept saying it was vacation, and I'm just like, because when you're on vacation, if you get the drink package, you're gonna drink.
You
You
drink.
know,
Mhm.
that's how. That's what I was feeling. That's what I was trying to compare, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was really heartbreaking to see that. And every time I'd be like, I'm not an alcoholic. We even ended up in therapy because if somebody is telling you that they're not an alcoholic, everybody's like, well, most alcoholics say they're not an alcoholic,
Uh-huh.
of course. So I felt like it was so much to kind of back it up. How do you get out of an alcoholic allegation when you're just having a good time?
Yeah. Oh, two things I want to say because y'all did go to therapy, and then that's why I felt like it was kind of like a controlling thing because he was just like what his family background, the trauma thing, and I was like, how is that fair for him to, put that on you? Like, how did you feel with that when he was like talking about how he grew up and stuff like that, with like around alcohol or something, and then it's
Hmm.
like now he's control like policing your alcohol. Like, how did you feel about that whole therapy situation?
So with that, like, I felt like, first of all, they didn't tell me that I was going to therapy. They said get dressed. So
Oh,
I'm like, okay. They was like, you got 15 minutes to get dressed, and you're gonna go out and meet Brandon. And
oh,
I'm like, okay, but at the time before we did therapy, we were like fresh out of an argument, so it was just because an argument for the same thing, for the
mhm,
alcoholic thing. So I remember coming down and I see the lady sitting out, and I had watched the first season, so I'm like, oh goodness, we're going to therapy, like what is this? And I thought that I didn't think it was gonna be so alcoholic, so drinking focused, and I like that I got to hear, his trauma, like to see where it came from, and I
mhm,
I held space for it. I was like, okay, I hate that happened to you. That's not easy to go through, you know? And
mhm,
I can see where the trauma comes from. But I
mhm.
think I even told him, like, we're not your parents.
Ooh,
You
period.
can't, I hate that happened to you. I do. But you can't walk around placing this label on everybody. You can't see a red flag and be like, I feel like be cautious of the red flag. But if I'm telling you I'm not, stop
Mhm,
badgering me about it.
mhm,
I just felt like, because even because I told him, I may drink a little bit more because of my mom.
mhm,
You're not, I felt like I didn't get sympathy from him for that. So why should I have all this
mhm.
sympathy for him for what he went through?
Yeah,
And
that's
I did. I care about him. So of course I cared, but you're not finna, just because you have trauma with something, don't mean that I'm finna sit here and admit to being an alcoholic when I'm not.
okay. You're like, clock that T. I'm not alcoholic.
Please, like, chill out.
That's so funny. But yeah, I am. I felt sympathy for you when you were sharing that. So I definitely do send you all my sympathy about you losing your mother. And I feel like that kind of can be a hard thing, even sharing that on like national TV. So I do
It
want to say
was.
that as well. And you brought up another point too that I wanted to kind of ask because hearing you talk about how like you didn't know y'all was going to therapy, you're like kind of get dressed and just conversations like what did a day in the life kind of look like in the house for how much ever you can share? Because it sounds like y'all don't have phones, like y'all don't have TV. Like, how did
Mm,
that kind of go? Yeah.
we did. We didn't like. We had each other
Hmm.
basically. So you don't have phones, no TV, no music. There's like a host of producers and people that can, help you out. One of my favorite things about filming, there was this thing called the bat phone. You picked it up and called them, like called in a little room, and anything you needed, they would bring it to you. So I wish I
Oh,
had a bat phone in real life. But other than that, like a day would be we'd wake up, they kind of woke us up at the same time. Some people got up a little earlier than we did. They called it like the breakfast crew. That's what Alicia called it. But
hmm.
they would go and have breakfast early, and then we would kind of trickle in as the day go by. And you got to think they're filming 24/7. So you wake up, you get mic'd. If you're gonna shower or whatever, you shower. Um, get mic'd again. You come down, and a lot of the day was just kind of us. A lot of the content filming was just us in the house, doing stuff. Now we did have, if we were going to have a game or something, they would let us know maybe an hour or so before that to get dressed. We're going to have a game for the day. But a lot of the time we were just either cooking or hanging out. We played a lot of pool, a lot of games. It was fun. And there was always, so our entertainment was basically each other and
Hmm.
liquor and the games every now and then.
Each other. Okay, because the games got a little spicy.
They
So,
did.
so for like breakfast, like, did y'all have a certain time y'all had to wake up, or was it just like whoever wakes up, it's breakfast time?
Yeah,
Like,
so we fed ourselves the whole time.
hmm.
So it was just like Jay cooked most of the time. Jay cooked most of the meals. I think everybody cooked, of course, but for breakfast, her and Cinco was always in the kitchen. So they would wake up, they're in the kitchen cooking breakfast, and then whoever else would trickle down and cook breakfast. There was no set time for breakfast. You just
Okay.
kind of
Well, like set time to wake up. Were they like y'all have to be up at 8, or like you have to be up by 9? That's what I guess I was trying to ask.
No, unless we had something planned earlier in the day, it wasn't. But you kind of get a rhythm of
Hmm.
waking up. So all of us were pretty much, our body just kind of woke us up by 8 o'clock. You know,
Oh, hmm. I was just wondering because there was no alarm clocks. I know I need an alarm
Mm-mm.
clock. I'm
Now
like, how are you waking up?
there would be times if you slept, because I know Alexis took a few naps. I took a few naps. If we slept too long or they needed us, they would just come and kind of wake us up. But it was never, nobody slept past 10.
Okay, okay. And then the challenges that we seen on TV, they would kind of like get y'all like, when it was like the games or something like that, they would kind of like get y'all ready for that. Be like, oh hey, but y'all didn't have no idea what it was.
We didn't. So it would kind of be, I guess they would pull who they wanted to host the show, who they wanted to host the game. They would pull them to the side and let them know, you're gonna host this game. But we never knew what the game was. So in some type of way, which was always funny to me, whatever couple was having the problems in the house, the game was gonna like bust their problems wide open at the table. It was
Mhm.
just like every time I would hate when we were the ones having the problem, because I'm like, okay, the game is going to be messy to us. Even games of choice, like you would, for instance, the Brittany and Ty situation, their problem was intimacy. How did they get the questions about the? Do you see what I'm saying? And that was just a game of choice. They were
Yes.
pulling out of a hat. So I feel like fate was messy. Like
Yeah, because then you all and Brandon had something, and then wasn't there like a question? Or well, not even a question. Maybe it wasn't you, Brandon, but the question was like, who's gonna leave or who's gonna stay? Like, if you had to say right now, who's gonna stay or something like that. Did you say yeah?
I
You
said maybe
yeah,
because
yeah.
I I was 4 years is a long time to be talking to somebody. That is a long time. So I had a little bit of hope, and I felt like we were in just a bad place that day, you know?
Hmm.
And for me to see him say no, I saw him wrote no, and it hurt
Yeah,
my feelings so bad. I was like, Brandon,
you
no.
should have seen the Jared. You should have been like, no.
I don't know. Like I should have, but at the time I had already felt bad for not necessarily helping him cook that day, but I did help cook. I was down there chopping up some vegetables and stuff, but it was so tense in the kitchen, and I already wasn't feeling good. I left. So maybe I could have done a little more, I
Uh-huh.
understand that that wasn't a good look, but I'm it was already hot in the kitchen. If you can't
Mhm.
stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. I just
Okay.
That's what I did. I got out the kitchen.
My girl was gone. Okay. So thank y'all so much for joining. I hope my friend said, hey y'all. So hey
Hey.
girl. Definitely I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. So the award winning question is, why did you wait so long to tell Brandon your secret?
To be honest, I debated telling him my secret at all once we got
Mhm.
there because I felt like if you think about it, we got there and he started with the drinking thing right off the bat. So
Mhm.
we weren't getting along, and I felt it felt like there was never a time to, without making it worse, sit down and be like, okay, so this is why I didn't see you all of those
Mhm.
times. This was going on. I just didn't want things to blow up any more than they already kind of felt like they were. So then he finally let the drinking thing go a little bit, and we had a really good week that second week. It was great. And I feel like I didn't want to ruin that. Like I'm finally getting to, cuddle up, be up under my man like I want it to be.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want to ruin that. And you got to think like it was so much happening in the house. Imagine me sitting down just as a viewer. Imagine Clay and Tati are blowing up, and then it switch over to Kiki telling her secret. What?
Mhm.
Like nobody wants to hear that right now. It's other things going on.
It's a lot of
So
drama.
So right. So I felt like it just never seemed like the right time to let him know. And plus, there are some things behind the scenes. If they don't want you to do it, no
Mhm.
ma'am, it's not time. So that was also a factor. I had to wait until I was able to do it, allowed to do it.
Do you wish or do you regret that you wouldn't have told him at I mean, do you regret like thinking that you shouldn't have said it at all? Or are you like, I'm glad I told him?
Both, if I'm being honest. I feel like that was kind of the nail in the coffin with
Mhm.
our relationship. Um, because yeah, Brandon was controlling, and like it was a lot of things about him that I wish, um some traits that I felt like he definitely needed to work on to make me happier. I do feel like we possibly could have worked. So I feel like in that regard, I wish I wouldn't have ever said anything, but I know me. Like
Mhm.
I would have had to get it off of my chest if we were gonna have anything serious. So because
Mm.
I talk too much. So if it was gonna
What
come
it came
out eventually, especially being with him and getting comfortable. Like, because when I'm comfortable, I'm such an open book.
Mhm.
So to be called a liar was so funny because if you know me, I can't because I talk so much.
So do you feel like yeah, because he was like that was a deal breaker. Like, did you know that was his deal breaker?
No, I didn't. Like, how would I know?
Yeah,
Because
he was
he didn't suspect that he was there. So that was what I was saying. Like, how is that a deal breaker, Brandon? Why do I have three strikes? What is this?
yes.
Like, I felt like a child. I felt like I was walking on eggshells with that man so many days
Mhm.
because I just didn't want to set him off. I didn't want us to. Brandon shuts down when he's annoyed, and I just please let's just have a good day. Let's have a good day. So yeah,
That's funny. Someone said I knew Brandon had some control issues. Ooh. Clock the
he, he poured me 2 more ounces of liquor and had a fit about it. Champagne at that,
tea.
prosecco.
Yeah.
It was Riesling. Like that's not gonna do nothing. Look, I'm in a big body. I promise you, I'll be okay, babe. I'll be okay.
Yes, because he was saying how he like came to visit. He wanted to come and visit you like 4 times, and I guess that's how he found out, or like you tell him that is kind of how he was like, oh, so you're with your ex. So do you kind of want to clear up that timeline just so people can know, like, okay, I didn't talk to my ex, or like how long I was dating, just so like people can know, so they don't keep calling you a liar.
And that was one thing that bothered me so much because I felt like they left so much out of our story that when I was saying certain things, it didn't make sense because you guys had no context.
Mm-hmm.
So when me and my ex broke up, like the first time when I moved out, it was 2021. That's when I moved. Like we weren't living together anymore. But we continued to deal with each other. So we were in separate houses, but we sometimes it's hard to, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Cut me off. Mm-hmm.
especially under the circumstances. It was a little hard to let it go. So people's like, she going back to her ex, baby. I promise you, I'm not. I promise. I promise I'm not. But so I was I do feel like I was in the wrong for talking to Brandon and my ex at the same time. But to me, the situation Brandon played pro football in Mexico. Like he was playing football over there. So how was I going to meet him that whole first year? He was literally just a pen pal, somebody to take the edge off. What's that TikTok trend? Was something to take the edge off
Oh,
when I went to leave.
wait a second.
So, like for a whole year, and then when he finally came back home, me and my ex were still like we still lived together a little bit, like maybe a month or two while Brandon was back in the States,
Uh,
and
okay.
in because I'm still living with him, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And after we broke up with it, it just never. He would Brendan came here twice, and I was in like Alabama a couple of times, and he said that he was busy, so I couldn't see him. When I was in Alabama, it was more so like a drop by. I'm here. Are you free? But the times that he did come to try to see me, one of the times I just wasn't ready to see him, and the other time I had something else to do. Had to-
Okay, Kiki, little sneaky. I'm just playing. So, he live in Alabama. Like he lives in Alabama, and you live
yeah.
in Georgia.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. That
Like,
makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, well, you clear that up. So we know you don't talk to your ex, but do you still talk to Brandon?
I'm sorry.
I said we know you don't talk to your ex. Do you still talk to Brandon?
Yes.
That's what the people want to know. Okay.
Me and Brandon are really good friends. Really good friends. We had a, and that's the thing, because everybody's like, you keep calling him your best friend. I really do consider him one of my best friends. Like,
Mhm.
that's just it. And I feel like you don't grow this friendship you don't grow this friendship for this many years. At this point, it's 5 years. He knows so much about me. I can't let
Mhm. Mhm.
but we are still friends now. It's not as much as it used to be. We don't talk nearly as much as we used to, but we do. He still checks on me.
Oh, that's good. Well, let's just talk about that because when we seen from the ending of the episode, baby, he wouldn't even close your door, child. So how did that like happen from y'all to be friends like to this day? Like, how did that like unfold? Or like, did y'all kind of just get back into it, or was it just like, okay, I'll talk to him later? Then y'all kind of like cordially became friends.
Brandon is incredibly dramatic. He is so dramatic. So that last scene, I remember I'm huffing and puffing, but everybody was laughing. It was so funny because I looked around and he was gone, and I'm like,
Baby.
Brandon, what is going on, y'all? It was because I think even when I said you're not gonna give me no hug, like it was the funniest thing, and it was rude. I hated that because I'm like, you really not gonna help me with my bags, and my bags were heavy. I had a lot of stuff, but one thing why I always say that Jared was like the nicest. Jared actually ended up helping me
Oh,
with
he
my bags and
did.
stuff.
Shout out to
Yes.
Jared. Well, he did Charlie wrong, but shout out to him for helping you.
Yeah, y'all, Jared is, he was actually nice to me, and Brandon at the time, I was like, he just left. But the adios Kiki thing, I thought that was funny because what do you mean? You are not that mad.
Adios. Okay, bringing your Spanish up in there, boy. Okay.
Right. And he did come and give me a hug. We were laughing like at the end. I think I posted that on my Instagram. But it's just watching it back. It was just so funny how it was cut up because where are you running off to?
Oh, so he gave you a hug like when y'all weren't filming.
Yeah. Well, no, we were still filming. Like when we went to get in the they cut it out.
They cut it out. Okay, because I was like, we didn't see that part. That's why I was asking.
No.
Someone said
But you
Jared.
hear me say, you're not going to give me a hug? Like, because we were, yeah.
Okay. Someone said Jared. Okay, Jared helped her with her bags. We like that
Yeah.
because Brandon played you. So I know we talked about this a little offline. We're going to kind of switch the narrative a little bit. I wanted to ask you because I know you said kind of like you feel like you got like a bad edit and something like that. Do you feel like being in a bigger body affected your edit? Do you feel like that's why you got a bad edit, or like how do you feel about that?
100%.
Oh.
100%. I feel like, and at first I kind of thought I was delusional until I watched Clay. Now, Clay, I don't agree with, Tati's my girl. I don't agree with a lot of things that that Clay did. But why did we need to see Clay's butt crack? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? And for me, when I watched it back, because they send us the season like before, so we can film the reunion. So we saw it before you guys did, and I remember watching it back, and I even called like the producers because I was like, "Y'all, is this really like what was going on?" They showed so many just bad shots of me, or like where my unflattering angles.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all always saw me eating. I know there was a YouTube review that I watched, and they were always just kind of talking like it's. I just feel like they put me in a light where it was easy to make a fat joke all the time. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
always saw me eating. Y'all didn't see nobody else eating. The clip where they said I slept to 2 o'clock. I did not. I had on a full face of makeup. Why would I be asleep to 2 o'clock? Like you
Mm-hmm.
can tell that that was just a nap or something. It was just so many things that I felt like it was it was fat phobic. Even with Brandon and this halo effect, I feel like a lot of people, or just reading the comments, they'll be like, he didn't want her in the first place, or it was just a fetish. Why does it have to be a fetish? Because I'm big? Why can't
Mm-hmm.
he just like me? I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, people like me. I promise, and it's not because I'm big. So I, it was it watching it back. I really did feel like, because
Mm-hmm.
it was so easy to make me the bad guy, and I have these, you know, and I had this secret, and I was annoyed. I definitely do. And the lazy rhetoric, all of it, I felt like it ties into being a big girl, which really hurt my feelings. But what did I expect from Hollywood?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying because you're saying that them saying like I didn't really see them showing you eating, so I don't know that part. But like the lazy, like oh you didn't help Brandon cook, and like oh you're just drinking, or like that's kind of how that's portrayed. And I'm definitely sorry
Yeah.
because I was like okay yes we have like a girl that looks like us, somebody like that. But it is cute. It's like well how are you gonna get like the angles? I'm like dang, are they even taking into consideration or like what was your mind going in because you were like the only one in the bigger body? Like did you feel any type of way were you nervous when you met everybody? Like how did you feel about that?
When I met everybody, I wasn't, because I'm used to being the biggest person in the room.
Oh,
I'm used to being the bigger girl, and to be honest, I love me. I do. Y'all, I'm a plus size model. I wear what I want. As
mm-hmm.
you can see on the show, I
Okay,
wear what I
you was
want.
having the crop tops on.
But really, nobody's gonna stop me from loving me, because I have one life just like a skinny person. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't deserve anything less than them. I
Mm-hmm.
have the same 24 hours in a day, the same life. Why would I be nervous or intimidated to be in a room with somebody just because they're half my size? No.
Yes. Agree.
So, but I didn't expect for them to. I don't know. I went into it so hopeful, and that was my thing too. I thought that I was going to be able to show, because a lot of people think plus size girls, or they think, we don't deserve love. I don't know where they came from, but they're just like, you know, so I thought that I was gonna be able to show y'all, yes, we do deserve love. People love us. It's not a fetish. This is that. And when I watched it back, I'm like, oh wow, y'all. Even from the beginning, when I walked in my blue jumpsuit, what would it have been to tell me to pull it up a little bit? You know, or there were so many times where how would it have hurt you to pull me to the side and fix my outfit? I saw you do it for other people,
Mm-hmm.
or cut that thing. If you see my rose hanging out, cut it. you know that I'm. I guess that's. I done said 50 times. I don't know. Take a shot when she say but but that's just how I felt. It was. I wasn't intimidated or anything, or I didn't feel othered. The cast made me feel really good. I never felt othered by them.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon made me feel good. He didn't. Brandon really never talked about my size, so that's how, when people like, oh, it's a fetish, he makes me feel like a regular person. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just, once I watched everything back and seeing reviews make, like I said, it was the fat jokes every time they
Mm-hmm.
say something about me, or the comments, why is he even with her? He deserves so much better. I'm just big.
Right. It's like, do you know her? Do you know me? Like, you don't even know these people, and they loved you
Mhm.
with that jokes. You should be like, was you on TV?
Were
Are you
you
like that's
like
what you? Because what is the point? But yeah, I do think that you did show a representation, and I don't think it was too crazy. But I do see what you're saying because on the other hand, like you said, like Clay, he's not he is kind of a bigger guy, but it's always a discrepancy or whatever the word is, discrepancy between bigger women and bigger men. Because I'm like, well, he got a whole thing and he was lying. I don't hear nobody talking about him. He was lying. He lied about a whole baby.
He did. And the things that I do see about Clay, I will say there was one scene. It's kind of funny, but it's not funny at the same time because I see what they did when he was lying about that sandwich and Jay had like 15 meats on that sandwich and he bit into it and it looked like he was just enjoying that sandwich. And I was just like, y'all wouldn't have did that if he wasn't on the bigger end.
Well, I don't know. I think they did that because he was lying about being vegan. That's what I took
Oh,
it as.
that no, that could be right. But if that's the case, they could have showed him scarfing down them taquitos.
Yeah, I took that as because he said he was being vegan and he
Okay.
lying. That's how I took it. But yeah, it all depends on your perspective. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely he was lying. But I do see that. And so I was like, oh, and honestly, I haven't really seen like a bigger person on any love show or whatever. And so that's why I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, not that you had to be like the poster child, but it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, we see like somebody that maybe has a body like ours and different things like that. And you're showing up and you're loud and you're showing like we deserve love, like just because you're big, you're small, whatever, like you deserve love no matter what it was. So I really did like that as well. But yeah, I'm sorry that you had to feel like you had to go through that because people are just nasty and mean. They're just gonna always have a joke about something. It's just
They
so
are.
horrible. But at
And
least
Diamond from
oh,
first season, she was a bigger girl.
oh,
Diamond, it was I think they were Diamond and Aaron. They were a little older, and she was a little smaller than me. But
mhm.
I didn't see so much of them, picking at her. So that's why I felt safe to go
Oh,
on because I was like, okay, they respect
mhm.
bigger bodies, and then I go on and I'm like, oh no, not
Yeah.
mine, not mine. They don't.
Okay, I gotta go watch the first season. I didn't watch that one, so I gotta go back. Switching little gears though, we kind of talked about it a little bit about the cast, but I want to know like what was your first impression of like the other cast members?
My first impression of the cast members.
Mhm.
Um, I love Tati from Jump. I will say that. I thought she was pretty. She was cool. She was very open. I liked Alicia. Alicia seemed kind of standoffish in the beginning, but she was sweet. Everybody was sweet. Like I remember Lex didn't want to hug. Like Lex wasn't really, huggy. I walked in and hugged everybody. Y'all don't see that, but I walked in and hugged everybody. I remember thinking that Cinco was gonna be our first like LGBT couple. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Because they sent him in with the girls. And I remember looking at him at first, the height got me. I was like, who is this? Who's that? First I'm looking at him and then I started thinking, I was like, wait a minute, it's are we is this the first one? But and then I met Jay and I was like, okay, this checks out. But I just
Ah,
thought, yeah, I thought we collectively we were a very attractive cast. I thought everybody looked
mhm,
good. Everybody had really good vibes. So,
mhm.
you know, yeah, it was fun to now that I know everybody, thinking back of how it was the first time meeting them and just seeing her, and it was fun to pair who was with who because I
Oh,
remember we came in off of our date because the girls we all had met each other the first night in Cinco, so seeing our guys trickle in, it was always like, oh, okay, so that's your type, that's what you like, okay, okay,
oh, the girls got to go in first. Y'all got to meet each other
yes, the
before.
girls did.
Oh, that's cool, little girl pal. I like that.
Hmm.
That's funny. So, thinking about it, then, who do you think played the game or like had the best strategy behind the scenes? So, we talk about this halo effect and like the men having all this halo effect and the women having like bad edits. Who do you think got like that? That halo effect and was really strategic about how they showed up.
Mm, who I think? Jay and Cinco.
Jay and Cinco, you think they had the best strategy? Like
I
lean.
do because I definitely do because like I said, they had their own little space. Y'all don't see a lot of any of their arguments really. Like they
Mhm.
always, I think they would go in the closet or something and hash it out if they had a problem. But y'all didn't see it, so it was easy for both of them to seem very like for
Like
them to be front runners and fan favorites. They just they kept it very cordial on the screen, so it just looked like you know
very good.
it looked like everything was good. And then I feel like for me and Brandon to be not getting along the way we were some days, and he's going and in his interviews I'm watching it back and I was like, oh, you're laying it on thick. You are laying it on thick. I felt like that added to his halo effect.
Yeah,
It did, because he was saying one thing and I'm over here vulnerable and like emotional in my interviews telling what's happening, and it looks like I'm being mean to him. I'm like, I'm not. I
Oh, yes.
promise.
One time, didn't he say? Wasn't he like, "Well, I'm not gonna say anything if you don't care about yourself," or something like that? Like when you were drinking.
He did. And I was
Yeah.
just like, then stop saying something. Nobody asked you to say anything in the beginning. You took this upon yourself. You made this a problem, Brandon. Like, this is a Brandon issue that Keke got thrown into.
Okay, I was like, "Well, dang! Like, hold up! Like, I don't even know you for real. Just play, you know him,
No,
but
but really. But really.
like
And
I just
then
met
he
you."
ended up, telling me, he was like, drink, you need to be drinking some water. I've been drinking water the whole day. Okay, well, is it a crime to drink some wine? Like, what is the problem?
Yes,
And then the day with the I had an actual like emergency. Like, I had to see, but I didn't want them to film it because I had my wig off. So that's why I was like, when I watched it back, I was like, this probably would have looked a lot better if I just would have let them film and show exactly what was going on. But I did not want y'all to
oh,
see me with my set it off braids.
did so
So
you just tell
I shot
production not
myself
to
in the foot
film
with that
you?
one.
Did you tell production just not to film you?
Yeah, I was like, no, but I was panicking. I had a panic attack as well.
Mm.
But I was, when I thought about it and I saw them bringing the cameras, who wants to be, I didn't want to be on like TV in that light.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I definitely understand. So, did you have an option with that? But did people have an option to be like, film?
Oh boy.
Okay, the weather is crazy. But did you have an option to say like, hey, I don't want to be filmed right now. Like, hey, I don't think this is a good time, or was it just because you were having, a panic attack, or like was the option for other people?
I definitely think that would have been an option for other people because we're still people at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Like, you still have rights. So it was, even though you couldn't really be like, no, 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 but the I'm trying to think of what her position was or whatever. But I know each couple had like a personal producer. And at that
Mhm.
time, I think that because she had kind of gotten to know us over those couple of weeks, she could see that I was really in distress, and it was making it worse. The thought of, like I said, I have really bad. I was panicking. I was finna throw myself into a full blown panic attack, worrying about them bringing the cameras in because I didn't want anybody to see me like that. So they could have either brought the cameras and made it worse, made it 10 times
Mhm.
worse, or just leave them at bay. And I think they made the right decision because I couldn't talk myself out of what was about to happen,
I
or
see what
not
you're
talk
saying.
myself, but calm myself down. Yeah,
Mhm. Was they were and they were supportive. That's really good. They were
they
supportive
were.
within
Yes.
that. That's definitely.
Until they got to the editing room, then they were like, "She was sleeping. She didn't want to help him."
Yes,
What?
that's so interesting because my next question I was going to say is like, which moment on the show made you say like, wow, this is definitely going to be on TV? But it's smart that you were like, you didn't want that moment to be on TV. But where were you like, what moment?
Funny story. There was actually a moment that didn't end up on TV that I just knew. Two moments actually that I just knew were gonna end up on TV that was embarrassing for me. One, the first night, when we got there, of course, I did have a drink or two, but I wasn't drunk. Brandon will swear I'm drunk, but I wasn't. Um, I jumped in the pool. I forgot, like, my little wig was like a glueless wig because I can't do hair. So I was, I was gonna get braids, but we had the hurricane in Atlanta literally the day before. I had to fly out, so I couldn't get my maintenance. My nails weren't done, my hair wasn't done. You know,
Oh,
right? So I didn't have my braids. I was just having a good time. We were playing in the pool. I jumped in. My wig went this way, and I went that way. So and you could just hear them over the radio. Kiki's wig came off. Kiki's wig came off. Get a camera. But
If that would have been
and
on camera, now I'm like, y'all, she got a bad edit because that's rude.
yeah, and they when I saw that they didn't put it in the season, I was so happy. But then I turned around and we get to the reunion, and you know the little clip they had like some extra clips. I don't think they
Never
showed it
seen,
in
never.
the Dollar Tree reunion. Yeah, but when I saw it back, they was gonna show it at the reunion, but they cut it out. And then there was another time where me and Brandon we was actually holding hands or something, walking because everybody thought he pushed me. But we went down the stairs. I missed a step and fell face first,
What?
face first, and everybody was like, "Oh, Brandon pushed her. Brandon pushed her," and those are not like. I don't even think he helped me up. Jared helped me up.
Now, Brandon,
Now,
what is going
Brandon,
on?
but everybody swear Brandon is just the sweetest. Like,
Did you say the Dollar Tree reunion?
absolutely.
Not the Dollar Tree reunion.
Somebody said it in one of their videos, and I was like, "That is the perfect description for this reunion." It was a 100% Dollar Tree reunion,
No,
even
someone said
down
it in
to
detail.
like our outfits. I remember being so upset because like what I wanted to wear, I would like they had to approve it. So what I wanted to wear, they just wouldn't, and they approved everything at the last minute. Hair and makeup at the last. We had like 15 minutes for hair and makeup, so you couldn't get what you wanted to. It was just so rushed, and then to watch it back, I was like, y'all had us in there for 10 hours, or however long we were filming just to get that. There could easily be a part two to the reunion, but stay tuned because it just might be.
Yeah, because that's so sad. It's like, where was somebody said it could have been an email, and I'm just like,
It
that is
could
so.
have. We got into me and Brandon got like 2 minutes of reunion time.
Yes, I did not like that. I was like, where is there like, and then they didn't even ask y'all if y'all was dating other people or nothing. Like, it was just boom quick. I was like, what? That's so rude. So, are you dating people?
Exactly, and I maybe because of the Brandon and Charlie thing, maybe that's why they didn't ask us if
Oh,
we were
that
dating
always
other people.
know.
Yeah,
Oh, are you dating people? Are you dating somebody?
I am dating people.
Oh, what?
One thing about me, I don't know if we could tell from the show, but I'm gonna keep me one.
Okay, period. Now, girl, have you met him now? We'll need to see you'll never ever met season 3. I'm just playing.
Hey, no, this one is an Atlanta local. Well, I'm dating. I have a little bit of options. Nobody really impressed me. Of course, I have a favorite, but it's Atlanta. Like the dating pool is
You got a roster like
it's
Tati.
something. I'm sorry.
You got a roster like Tati. She said she had a
I got a
roster.
roster like Tati. I mean, some really good picks, and they're all at least 6 foot. So I don't have to look down at them like I did Brandon. So we're good.
You're taller than Brandon?
Brandon is 5'2".
What? Hold on, how tall are you?
I'm 5'4 1/4".
Hold on, I genuinely did not know he was that short. Maybe because on TV he looks taller, but it didn't look like he was that short. Like I know you said he was short, but I was just like, oh, like he's short, maybe like a little taller than you. I did not know he was 5'2". I did
Yeah,
not know that. But they do say something about short men syndrome, but I ain't gonna
he
go on
ain't
that.
5'2". He's not 5'2". Somebody called him 5'2" at the reunion, and that
Is he 5'2" for real? I did not know.
no, I took it and ran with
That's
it.
rude. Don't be having me out here.
But 5'6" or 5'7" at the tallest. Me and
Okay.
Brandon stand pretty much side by side.
Somebody said he was 5'2". Now I'm gonna ask you this because you said like you've been watching reviews and you've been YouTube. Like, do you and Jay was in the comments too. Do you be clapping back at people or like what made you watch reviews while going through the show? Did that kind of like you know change your perspective on the show, or was you like, oh, okay, like no, like they're rocking with me, because it's all about like your personality and stuff like that.
I, if I'm being completely honest, I watched the reviews because I don't know why I watched the reviews honestly, because my real like my real friends and my real like family and stuff, they were telling me like stay out the comments. Don't watch the
Yeah.
videos because you're just gonna hurt your feelings. And when I
Mhm.
tell you, it was people that I was excited to watch from the first episode, but then it was like as the show goes on, and rightfully so, because they can only comment on what they see, you know. But
Mhm.
I was all type of like liars and lazy and Keke full of this and that. Like they really, when I tell you, they did not hold back. They did not hold back. So it was very heartbreaking watching the reunion. I was probably I really went into hermit mode for about 2 months, like the duration of the show, because it was so much hatred, and it
Mhm.
got to a point. I remember Brandon will always be like, "People, they don't hate you like you think." So, like the same way people hate you is people that love you. You know,
Mhm.
you can't just be absorbed with the bad stuff. But that was all I was seeing, you know, and it really put me in a bad place simply because I knew the truth. I knew what really happened in that house, and just to see him get all these praises and stuff, and on the back end I'm getting, you know, torn down for
Mhm.
reacting.
Mhm.
It was not a fun time. It was not
Yeah.
a fun time for
You
me.
just on social media.
Yeah. Social media literally ate me alive. And at first I was in the comments trying to explain everything, but how can I explain to you what you didn't see?
True. I've been going live every Friday.
Yeah. And I thought about it too, but I didn't. That would have just been live hate, you
Uh-huh.
know? Something more for me to y'all, I'm
I see what
soft. I
you're
am
saying.
very soft. I'm very
Oh, you're talking about like people will be in the comments like talking crazy to you like in that moment when you're going live. I'm like blocked. I'm just playing.
no, really, and I just think that I'm too sensitive to really
Mm.
to have done a live or to try to clear it up, and seeing how it went when I tried to clear it up, because people would clap right back at me and be like, "Well, no, you lied and you don't deserve him. How you gonna tell me who I don't deserve? Mind you, I know this man. Mind
Mm-hmm.
you, I know him."
Parasocials, we only met, we seen 8 episodes of these people. We really don't even know y'all. Like it's crazy that people they go to bat for people they don't even know. So that's
Exactly.
very interesting. What was one of the things that you felt like you held back because the cameras was rolling? Like anything that you like, do you feel like you did hold a lot of stuff back?
Um, I feel like I do in a to an extent, because I'm such a crybaby. And I feel like a lot of times when I just wanted to, you know, I don't like arguing, I don't like being overwhelmed. So it was a lot of times where I was over there, you know, sucking up tears or something, or
Yeah.
just I'm not good. So I can get in my own way, and I'm not able to explain myself well. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't find the words. It's ADHD. You know, it's like a lot of stuff and it just funnels. So
Mhm.
I couldn't funnel out the right sentences. So there would be times to where there was something that I wanted to say, and I would either say the wrong thing. So closer to you can see as the episodes progress, I start talking a little less and less, because I'm just like, yeah, this is not this is not, I can't find the words and it's gonna be not good. But
Mhm.
it was that, and then I wish I would have been I was really affectionate with Brandon, but there were times like where I knew there was a camera. I wish I would have, you know,
Been a little bit more.
reciprocated a little bit, because it just looked like I didn't want to be around him. Yeah. But even the one where it was in the scene where we were in the van and Tati and Clay in the back, and Brendan's like, you're not gonna give me a hug. And I'm like, I don't come from very affectionate family. That one when we were leaving improv, I literally 5 minutes after that, I go to sleep in his lap. Like we were cuddling, and I'm just like, why y'all couldn't show that? Why y'all just had to show what I saw, what I said?
That's why you said you have a bad edit because they were trying to play you.
They didn't. They showed like one clip of me sleeping on him.
Mhm.
Like
And they were
yeah,
oh, that's what I was gonna say. Because there's cameras like in the rooms and stuff like that. Were y'all able to go to like the guys room and stuff like that? I know they very
yeah,
much harm like the boom boom room. Oh, you all were like in the guys room and different things like that. But
yeah. We
just
spent a lot of time in the guys' room. Like there were, I can remember one night, because Chris is probably the funniest person I have ever met in my whole life. Chris can be Chris can be walking. Chris can mind his business and say nothing, and it's hilarious. Chris is probably one of the funniest people I've met in my entire life. And I don't forgot why we were in there, but like Chris and Lace was in the bed, me and Brand was in the bed. Um, I don't think Britt was in there with Ty. And she probably had gone to sleep, and Dallas and Jared were in the bed. Charlie and Jared. I'm sorry, we call her Dallas. Um, they
Okay.
were in the bed, and we were just. It was just hilarious because Chris was just in there, just making us all laugh. So there were times when we were in there. The boom boom room definitely did have cameras, so there was not a whole lot of boom booming going on in the boom boom room. If we
Uh-huh.
anytime we did something, it was always in the shower of the boom room. The showers caught a lot of.
Oh,
Found
okay.
out.
They didn't want it to be on TV and stuff like that. And I was like, dang, invasion of privacy, boom boom room, showing in the boom boom room.
Exactly.
That is crazy. Okay, so what is one thing that you feel like viewers don't know about you from watching the show?
Don't know about me from watching the show.
Yeah, like probably don't know about you, like because we only, got a couple things about you. Like what? Yeah.
I feel like they didn't see like half of my personality, like
Mm-hmm.
at all. You just see me angry and annoyed. I am rarely like that. Like everything is funny to me. I'm a jokester. I'm very I would say I'm very bubbly, outgoing, like, but you don't see that was one thing too, you don't see much of my personality at all. Like, I wish people would have actually got to see me, but they did not. And what else? And I do cook. I can cook down.
Okay, period. Southern girl.
Right, right.
You say you know how to whip something up in the kitchen. They were trying to play you like you didn't cook.
Exactly. They was like, Kiki, lazy. Come to my house. Come find out.
Okay, let them know. That is so funny. If you could relive like one scene or moment from the show, what would it be and why?
Oh, that is a good question. Okay, question. Um,
I tried.
one moment. A lot of okay, a lot of my me and Brandon would always go outside, like on the ledge. Well, it wasn't really the ledge, it was just kind of like the balcony, right? And
Mhm.
it was one night we were just out there talking, and it was just looking out at like the hills and looking out at everything, and it was perfect. It felt like Florida out there,
Mhm.
like Florida on the beach. You know what feeling I'm talking about when it's a
Yes,
little
I
cold,
do.
and
Uh-huh.
it felt like Florida, and it was me and him, and we like were not arguing. I would relive that moment. We just had a really good time. I really just got to spend some good time with him. It felt like how I hoped every day would feel like with him. But
And
that
no,
day, I really felt like we were us. It felt like we were together, and
and no cameras was out there. Nobody was out there with y'all.
cameras came eventually. But me a lot, and that was another thing too, which was I felt like a lot of our talks and a lot of time we spent together, there were, they would either have to send a camera because I would get overwhelmed and I would just go off. I would go to the balcony or I would go somewhere, just kind of seclude myself. And
Mhm.
but they can hear your conversations in the mic, so they're gonna send a camera. If it's
Oh.
one or more person in a vicinity, they're gonna send a camera. So I think that we maybe had 10 minutes together before they sent a camera out there, and
That-
that's that. I know that's the time where he tried to kiss me and I was like no, and I kind of ran away.
Oh, I
That
do. That was when y'all was on the balcony. You ain't
and we
kissing
were
me.
on the balcony, but we spent a lot of time out there. I know one night we slept out there together on the balcony.
Now people
Yeah, we slept together most nights. But
okay, not in the booming room so nobody could see it.
no, we just in yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot you. Yeah, you said y'all are mic'd up all day. So they're literally listening to all the conversations, like seeing what's going on. And that's how they kind of know where to go and who to see. And that's why
Yes.
they was always peeping, like when people was being messy or talking because they could hear
Mhm.
them. Because
And
there
they
was
have surveillance, and you have to watch what you say on the mic because they can, even if you think you're whispering, they can turn it up and use it. There were some times where um I know, for instance, when they sent me in there to get the liquor for the table, and I saw it edited back to where it looked like I'm asking for a bottle of tequila vodka, of course. But I went in and Ty was like, "Damn, Kiki," or they. It looks like that's what Ty is saying, but that was Brandon. That was a sound clip from Brandon, and I'm just like, and he wasn't even in there. So it don't matter what you say. If it makes sense to go somewhere, they're gonna use it. Like for instance, at the reunion when I called Brandon my best friend,
Mhm.
Charlie and Jared called each other best friends too, right? over
Mhm.
and over. So Lex didn't clock my tea like everybody thought she did. She was talking to Jared about when she said that I don't lie to my best friend. She was not talking to me.
Oh yeah, because it was like right after you said something, like right
Hmm.
after you said. I have heard that they be clipping and putting stuff, so that was edited, and that's what you said. The reunion was even edited. That's
The
crazy.
reunion was edited down so bad. Like it's so much that we literally could have a second reunion. That's how much was left out of the
What?
reunion.
That
Everything y'all wanted to know,
didn't come. Why do you think that?
because the same way as watching it back, and everybody had like, it's TV. They had to have a story.
Mhm. Well, that would
Got
be
to
the story. Clock the tea. We need to know. This is why we.
exactly. But I feel like some things, like I know that my part, since I was watching it back, because I almost didn't come to the reunion because I was
Oh,
so upset with the way they made me look,
mm-hmm.
um, in the story. And now looking back, I understand because I do plan on, I don't know. Looking back, I understand that, maybe I just didn't understand how the work, how Hollywood and stuff work. Not Hollywood, but film and stuff work.
Mm-hmm.
So reality TV, that's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
um so I'm not upset about it for real anymore, but when I first, the initial shock of seeing how I was portrayed on the show, I was really upset about it, and I was like, I'm not coming to the reunion so y'all can make me look even worse.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. But they ended up convincing me to come. But when I got there, I was trying to explain everything, and I think that they cut a lot of it out because I was trying to over explain everything. It was like, no, ma'am, no,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
It's like you ain't about to clock RT. Honey.
Exactly.
So, what was the biggest like lesson you learned about relationships or friendships from being on the show?
Hmm. Um. Well, one of my biggest lessons: keep people out your business. Keep people out of your business. I really still, even at this day, like I said, I know him a lot better now, but
Mm-hmm.
I still don't hate him. So I feel like if we weren't in the house, things probably could have went better. But with everybody in your business, and it, a relationship is between two people.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of did that to y'all. Like it was something would happen, and then people like, oh, especially like you, and it was like, oh, you feel some type of way, then Ty or something like that was like, go talk to Brandon. Then Brandon coming in talking to everybody. I said, boy, go talk to her. Like, what's going on?
That
So,
was making me so mad because Brandon would, and that was the thing too. Imagine you not telling me why you upset with me. You going and talking to that whole house. So I would come in and you're talking about me, and I'm like, Brandon, I'm right here.
mm-hmm,
I'm right here.
mm-hmm,
So that was really really bothering me, and I think that, I mean, I had opinions on other people's relationships too,
mm-hmm.
but you get a first hand, you get a first hand seat on just everything, everything. And I saw firsthand how everything, um how just too many people and their opinions can persuade something to go a certain way. Because the boys had this bromance, the guys, they had this bromance in the beginning, and I think that it never became like a guys versus girls type of thing, because y'all didn't see a lot of the friendships that we made. I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the girls, we're still friends after the show. Like, you see me, Tati, and Jay talk every day. I talk to Alicia all
Mm-hmm.
the time. Me and Britt talk almost every day. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I have a point. I promise. It's the ADHD.
No, no, no. You're fine. You're fine. You were talking about people getting into the relationships and like what you learned. Do they still have a bromance, or are they the bro? Are they not cool no more?
I think they all are cool, but of course it's not the same way it was in the house. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's what I learned, just to keep people out of my business, because
Mm-hmm.
if too many opinions will really sever things, and then people trying to show out for other people, or yeah, you just got to keep a relationship between two people. I also saw how important honesty is in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It is really the foundation, because all of the lies and the secret babies and me and my ex, like, it was just a lot. It was a lot. And just to
Maybe the
see people,
lies has season two.
yes, right, to see people, or you, that, because especially Clay and Tati, I thought they were just the cutest. I thought they were the cutest. But to see in real time how lies can quickly destroy a
Mhm.
relationship,
Yeah,
and
I'm not.
then turn around and I'm basically confessing to a lie, and it killed my relationship.
Uh-huh.
I just and with even withholding information, like I really was able to sit and watch the show. That I will say, watch the show back and be like, okay, Kiki, never again, don't do that. Tell them up front. Let's talk.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
I
learned
was
to
like,
definitely be upfront.
yeah, I reviewed that episode with Clay and the baby. I said, baby, if his name starts with Clay, Clavacia, Clay, baby, don't listen because they be lying. Clay on Love Is Blind, Clay. They made the Clays bad for me. Actually, I did it.
Right.
I
I
did the
forgot Clay on
review,
Love Is
and he
Blind.
commented on my review. He
Oh,
commented on some of
clavicle.
them. Huh?
Clavicle. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's my favorite Clay variant. Cause
Yeah,
they came up with like 15 different
they
names for
really
Clay.
did. Yeah, somebody like said something about him. Somebody was like, whatever they said, they were like, he's a liar, whatever. He was like, all I have is love. I said, well, you sure ain't. I said, you sure ain't show Tati no love. Having
Oh,
nothing
Clay. And
stupid.
the saddest part about the Clay situation, I do believe Clay is a good guy. I do. He's really nice.
Do
It's the
you see?
lies. Why did you lie?
Do you be seeing him out in Atlanta? Don't he live there?
I haven't seen him or Cinco.
Oh, yeah, they all do live in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Y'all should have did a show like Love Island. Love Island doing all these Love Island.
Hey, we might. I don't think you've seen the last of a lot of us.
Oh yeah, that could be kind of cool. But yeah, yeah, I was just like, that's crazy. But that's good that you learned that. Like, yeah, keep him out of business. And I was going to say to your point earlier because you said that you were always mic'd up and stuff like that. I'm like, that makes sense. That's how they knew where to go, who was talking about who and what was going on because they were
Hmm.
always mic'd up. And so if you hear somebody gossiping or talking, because I would just see some things like even with the whole thing with Clay talking to Jared about, oh, I got her, I got a baby. Then she pops up. You like, well, hold on. Did they tell her to come out there? Then he over here talking about some I love you, knowing you just said you had a baby with you just told Jared you had a baby.
It was, something that bothered me. It didn't really bother me, but it was just interesting to see after the show. The sympathy for Charlie. It was some people. I felt like she hit four people, four people, and I guess because of the way Jared treated her, it was. And then in the house, we didn't hear what Jared was saying. I thought they were a great couple because they were like always laughing and hugged up. Like I liked seeing them together. So it was weird to watch it back and be like, "Whoa, Jared, what the heck?"
He was saying crazy stuff in his testimonials, wasn't he?
He was. I was so surprised. I was surprised to see him. Clay, Chris was funny, but I was like, Chris, really? So watching it back, it was
That's
surprising.
That's why I was like that's why I was surprised when you said that they got a halo effect because I'm like the testimonials alone was crazy. Jared was rude, but yeah, it's kind of like how do you get called a liar when Charlie had a 1 month old baby and literally had 4 kids and was lying, and she thought Jared was gonna move her to South Carolina, baby.
Listen, and they swore. Everybody was like, I hope she finds somebody. And I'm like, did y'all forget she hit four people? But y'all over here, Keke is horrible because she hit one that I could get rid of.
Didn't even
Them
hide
kids are
nobody.
here, and they so cute, but they're here.
Oh yeah, like you didn't even hide nobody. You just withhold telling him that. And honestly, I don't even know if I believe that you really did that. I kind of really thought it was kind of more for the storyline, kind of. So sometimes, like, I don't even know if I believe, like, I don't know if I believe it as well, like, because I know, like, because the drinking, it kind of like
Hmm.
ended it, and like you said it, but I'm like any production could tell you to say anything, so I wasn't even like, oh, okay, right, like they never meant like, okay, you did lie about it, but I don't even know if it's honestly like if she really lied about it versus like Charlie, she's like, I have to go pump. I told them literally the first day, so I think that is crazy.
Yes, it is. But I say that too because her and Brandon ended up talking, and it was just wild to me. That was one thing with Brandon. I was like, "You're a hypocrite. You are a
Oh,
hypocrite." Because what makes me and Charlie different? What makes us
mm-hmm,
different? Charlie drunk way more than I did. Way more than I did in the house.
mm-hmm,
But that's okay, Brandon. That is okay if it's cool when she do it. It's probably when I do it. And
uh,
then she lied first. She hit
mm-hmm,
four people to my
mm-hmm.
one. And
Well,
all
he
he
already
said was I
knew.
wasn't with her at the time.
He already knew. But is you about to be a stepdaddy boy? Okay.
I get Brandon's an opportunist, so I guess go ahead.
Now he's an opportunist. I'm
I
cracking
mean,
up.
Charlie was literally finna pay for Jared's. She sent him an Xbox. Like, I think Brandon saw some money and
Oh,
jumped on it. He was like, we were both vulnerable. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
cracking up. She also did get that tattoo. Now that was wild, and
Mhm.
he played her in her face.
That's yeah. Like, but honestly, I guess if that's what you like, I can see how that can be appealing. I guess somebody
Mhm.
that's gonna love you that much, but it ain't me. No, I'm not
Yeah.
taking care of you, and I'm not doing it.
Well, no, like she got the tattoo of him. That's what I meant. She got the
I'm
tattoo.
sorry.
She got the tattoo of him.
She does.
Hmm.
The
And so,
tattoo is real.
yeah, but he didn't get a tattoo of her. So I was like, dang, like she got a tattoo and everything like that. That was very much so crazy. But hey, you do what you do in that. So
Hey,
yeah.
I can't judge nobody for how they want to live their life. Like I said, I like Charlie. She was actually a really sweet girl. So until the whole thing with Brandon, I was like, I'm side eyeing them because I'm a girl's girl. I would never do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I felt like we were
Because
all
they
friends
really
in the house.
talked. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Because they really talked after the show.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that actually kind of hurt my feelings, and I told Brandon too. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, so all the times that I was feeling lonely in the house, all the times you weren't really paying me no mind. You were talking to the other girls at the house.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yikes. Oh, I thought it was just like they were when they did the little things, it was just like a funny thing like who would talk to who or whatever. That's crazy. And I think Charlie's a sweet girl too. But
Okay.
also I just off the bat when she just lied, I was like, dang girl, like I can't even give you a fair chance. Versus, we didn't know you were still ladies. I was like, okay, hey girl, Kiki.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's so funny. So wrapping it up though, I do kind of want to talk about this because watching like the love show, reality shows and stuff like that. I wanted to like ask you about how you feel like promotion goes, compared to like Netflix and like Peacock shows. I heard that y'all show is going to Hulu and
Yes,
something
our show's
else.
on Hulu and HBO Max right now.
HBO Max,
Uh
yes.
huh. I feel, to be honest, and we're a predominantly black cast. Well, we're all black cast. Charlie is a zebra, but I feel like I don't think we got and for it to be on own network too. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't feel like we got the push that we could have been, because I feel like it was a very interesting show. Like, it could have been big, and it was pretty big, but just I really don't think it was promoted the way that it could have been. So it could have got, a little bit more, because they would post us on their stuff every now and then, but it was, I think we did a lot of the promotion.
And with
And
Ready
you
to
guys.
Love, like being on a pause or something like that, I was just like, kind of like, where was the promotion? I would see it every now and then again, but it's like, yeah, the pictures like, okay, trying to see the promo and everything's like that. And I'm like, and it's on, and then kind of just looking at people's like Instagrams and social medias and stuff, like after you do Love is Blind, like you get deals, you get millions of followers, even look at Love Island and stuff like that. But I'm like, I feel like it's not the same type of out when you look at like the own shows or whatever. So I'm just like, dang, to think if y'all had like the same promotion or like the same advertising, I guess, whatever, to kind of promote the show.
And that too, like, because everybody's talking about Love Island. It's the it's everywhere. And I think that the show, I really think that our show was pretty entertaining. It's a nice concept, a nice group of people, a lot of twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why it wasn't pushed that much, because when people start watching it, they're gonna watch the season. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a couple of commercials and a post here and there, but I think OWN rolled out a lot of shows at the same time. So I
Uh,
think that you don't really get to, maybe it was too many. Maybe they can focus on one or the other, but there could have
yeah.
been a lot more promotion. We talk about that all the time. Jay
Oh,
feels really strongly about that. She
yeah.
looks like there should have been a lot of people. These people need to see me.
Okay, because Carlos King just said today he does 69% of the show, which he has Bell Collective, Love and Marriage, and then I guess Ready to Love is on a break. But then there's all these different shows, and because I even said I didn't even know that there was a first season, so I'm just like I haven't heard of Never Ever Met, and I guess the concept is really cool when you think about like the name of the show. You're kind of like, what is it? But then the concept, so that's why I was kind of just wondering. But I feel like if you're on a love show, dating show, I'm just like I just always think about that. Like, why is it not as big, in this mainstream
Right.
media, like black people like in love? Because then when you go to those other shows, like you watch those other shows, like in general, even though that like a lot of the couples didn't make it, it's still like
Mhm.
people didn't get played crazy. Like versus when you see black women on those, like maybe even Love Island, maybe even Love Is Blind, like they be getting played so crazy, and it's like
They do.
and it'd be like they be with white, black men who don't like black girls, and then they be having white men. Versus this one was like all black couples, and it was like showing different things. Like, of course, it was drama, but it was just like, okay, at least these people like really like each other. They're like,
Exactly.
in love. They want to see if it's going to work and stuff like that. So I kind of just think about that when I look at the overall spectrum of like why it's not promoted, or like why you all aren't getting branded and different things like that.
Right. And I will say, like, I definitely noticed an increase in, following, but I think that um it definitely could have been a lot, lot more.
Oh,
A
you
lot
got an
more.
increase in following? I feel like you already had a follow though, girl. I feel like you already had a following.
I had a little something, but it was nothing crazy. But there are more eyes now, you know.
Mhm.
So and now it's on HBO Max and Hulu, and a lot of people you had to have on to watch it. Like everybody has a Netflix subscription,
Yes, and
everybody has Peacock, but
that is
OWN is
another
like
thing.
everybody doesn't have an OWN subscription or cable. So I
Now
think
that
that has something to do with it too, because now with that it's on Hulu and HBO Max, I know a lot of my people are like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it.
yes,
So a
okay.
lot of people haven't even seen the show yet.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Everybody got Netflix and everybody got Peacock. I don't know what HBO, just HBO Max, true Hulu. That's
Mhm.
interesting that it's going to be on Hulu. I would have thought it would have been on Netflix because it's like a love dating show. I don't have Hulu though, so I don't know. I
Right.
just don't own. So that's
Now, if it
cool
would have been on Netflix, I definitely could have seen people come to
though.
find us because
Yeah.
everybody has a Netflix account.
Yes, literally, and they need to quit raising the prices. Just playing, but
Exactly.
but yeah, that's good though. Well, thank you so much for joining. Thank you much for like sharing your truth and talking about your experience and everything like that. Let them know a little bit about what you do because I heard you had a voice. Like, just let them know a little bit about you and like where they can follow you at and.
Okay, well, I do think I have some music coming out really soon. So follow me at Kiera Diamond. It's right there in my little name. On Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I have some music coming out really soon. Possible collaboration with Tati.
Oh,
Um, I'm part of a podcast called Two Sugars One Shot. That's me, Jay, and Tati. And you'll just it's going to be
what's
a
up?
wild ride, but a very fun ride. And that is two sugars, one shot, two sweethearts, and one straight shooter. And that's Jay. Um,
What y'all gonna be
so,
talking about?
huh, a
What?
little bit of everything. Some inside tea from the Never Ever Mets. We have trips planned, so you can follow us along on the trips. Also, we'll be reviewing other shows. Just a
Oh,
lot of like good fun stuff.
okay, that's cool. What is your genre in like singing?
I am a pop soul artist.
Okay, pop solo. So you do pop music. Okay,
Pop
that
soul.
is pop soul.
Yes.
Okay, girl, pop soul is that a new genre? I ain't heard that genre
It's
before.
not a new genre. It's like hers. I would even say her, SZA, all of them. They're more pop soul. They make pop music, but it's still with the R&B flair.
Oh, okay, that's pop soul. It's kind of like, oh, okay. I never knew that that was a genre.
It is.
Oh, that's so cool. No, I never would have known that. I guess I look at theirs as R and B, so I wouldn't even think that. But yeah, let
Well,
me look
maybe
into.
I categorize them differently, but I just, everybody doesn't fall under the every black woman don't fall under the category of R&B.
That's what you gotta stand out. So, baby, if you're gonna be pop soul, better pop soul to the pop soul.
Exactly. Now it may be called something else, like because sometimes I get a little creative, so it may, you know, be something else, but from me, what makes sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
I describe my genre as a little bit of pop with a soulful flair.
Oh, I do like that though. I can see that soulful, that southern part. Do you have music
Yeah.
already out? Or are you coming out with music?
I do have some music already out. It's like a little EP from a couple years ago. It's
Mm-hmm.
If you go Kiera Diamond on Apple Music, I'm
Uh-huh.
there. It's called Naked. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
let me go listen to it. Okay, I should
but
have
I
listened
do
to
a
it.
lot of As for right now, I do a lot of like just performances, weddings, events, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So you do that, and a lot of people. You said you was in the house for a month.
Yes,
Oh, I was like, people think about that. I'm like, that's a long time
that
to
is
be in
a
a
long
house.
periodically time.
In a way, to be from your family and everything like that. Did you ever feel like, dang, do I want to stay? Or like, dang, I'm ready to go.
Yes, I did. Oh, when me and Brandon went getting along, I
You was
wanted to
ready
go
to go.
home so bad. And then we went from when we started getting along, and we went from just being under each other for like a week and a half to me telling my secret, and then he didn't want nothing to do with me for like 2 nights, and I was like, no, no, I want to go home. So it was, oh,
That
I
was
was so
towards the end
sad.
or was it in the middle? Like that
I'm
was towards the
sorry.
end of seen it. Towards the end, you said it, you told him your secret towards the end, and that was like the last couple of nights.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
like the third to the last night. It was the
dang.
night, 2 nights before decision day.
Dang, girl, you should have held out and not said nothing. Y'all might have went out together.
Listen, but honestly though, who knows? He's just 2 hours away.
Oh,
Who knows?
okay, period. Pop up on him.
Like, hey, we don't know. Who knows?
That is so
But
funny.
he would have to change some things too. I wasn't the only problem.
Yeah, okay, but I was like, I felt like now on the one part, not trying to get back into the show, but kind of, but like, I felt like now people probably had a problem with you because they felt like you were deflecting because you were like, because he was like having a problem with you or something. You was like, well, I got a problem with you too. I got a lot to think about.
But and that was another thing that stressed me out so bad because I'm like, y'all don't see what his problem is. Like they anything negative that Brandon did, they did not show it, and I'm just like, guys, you're making me look like a crazy woman. Like show him being mean.
Uh-huh.
Like
Now that part was kind of like that. I will say that I agree. That could have been like a bad attitude because we're just like, well, girl. Well, I mean, some people thought he was controlling, so they were like, okay, we could see that. But yeah, you're like, I got things to think about. We like, girl, you just told him a secret. What you got to think about? Like from a viewer standpoint, that's how we seen it.
yeah, and you also have to know too, like I know him, like stuff that we didn't discuss on TV,
Mm-hmm.
so because
Yeah.
we were, so we have been friends for a while, but the relationship part, it was a couple months. Like I was completely single by the time we decided to actually be in a relationship.
Mm.
So the house was really us trying to see if the next level was worth it,
Mm-hmm. And
if
then
we
you
want to
found
be for real. So that's why I feel like if y'all would have known that part, so much more would have made sense.
Yeah, that's what I say because it wasn't clear when you were like talking about your ex and stuff like that. But now that you're saying like y'all were only dating a little bit, I feel like that was kind of like a blurred line or whatever. Like we didn't know like oh y'all just started dating a couple of months versus like you're like the 4 years and they thought it was
Exactly.
4, and that's kind of how it made it look worse than what it really was.
So when I said 4 years and 4 months, yes, we had been talking for 4 years, but that relationship it was abusive. Like he was stepping out on me. So I literally, which I was wrong. I know I was wrong, but with Brandon, he was just like I said, something to take the edge off. I didn't think it was serious because he wasn't even here. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even here. But I guess it was a little more serious to him than it was to me. But when I wasn't with my ex anymore, I was like, dang, I do talk to him every day. Dang, I really do like him. So when he finally asked me to be his girlfriend, I was like, oh, let's see.
Okay,
Let's
and you
let's see.
and so you say yes without even meeting him. That is even more crazier.
Cause we made sense together. It made sense to me at the time. But when we got to the house, it made less and less sense as the days went on.
Yeah, because you're not in the proximity with people. But yeah, literally, like you say yes, like, and you never met in person. That is so
Right.
funny and so interesting. I mean, I guess everybody did it on the show, but that's another thing too. Like, y'all never met, like, so people never went on dates. People never, they were just on the phone, and it's just like a bond that you're building because you're talking to somebody every day, which is
And
definitely crazy.
I do think that, like, think about it, without meeting and without, it takes a lot of the superficial stuff out of the relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it takes, because a lot of people, like, you I feel like it moves everything kind of forward, you know. So with us, we actually had to have some type of bond. It wasn't just like, oh, I like you, you kind of cute, let's go, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and now let's see if a relationship would work. It was,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Talking
yeah,
like, oh, like I see you, and like we in the bed together the next day, so that's kind of why we're in a relationship. I do agree
exactly.
with that, because when you meet people like on the phone or whatever, like away, you have to talk to them, you have to communicate with them, so you have that
You
extra layer.
exactly, and you think about it, 4 years, we had a lot to talk about. When I tell you, when I call him my best friend, he knows. But no, I'm being serious. Like, he
No, no,
knows
I
so
know.
much
You
about
said
me.
4 years. That's why I was
Four
laughing.
years, that's a long time. So there has to be a bond. Like, there has to be, and there was a mutual attraction there. So
Mm-hmm.
why not see if a relationship would work? I thought I
Mm-hmm.
was healed from my ex, but Brandon and my ex remind me a lot of each other, and,
That's
like, you know, so
that's
I
kind of
guess
scary.
it is, no, it really is, but I feel like it's not just bad things. All of the good things that I really liked about my ex that I wanted to hold on to, I see in Brandon. Like, he's really disciplined. He's really hardworking. Brandon is a sweetheart. Brandon is a likable asshole. He is. Like, if I can call him that, I'm sorry for cursing, but that's literally,
What
what
he
he
is.
is. And I felt like my ex was the same way, and I got a little mouth on me, so, gotta have somebody that can handle that.
Got a little smart
So,
now.
yeah, boy, do I. So, so I feel like, with that being said, I did like all of those qualities about him. It
Mm-hmm.
just felt familiar. So it was easy to fall into something with him. It
Mm-hmm.
was.
Do you regret going on the show, or do you regret do you regret changing y'all relationship from friendship to relationship, like to boyfriend and girlfriend? Do you regret anything?
Um, I don't regret going on the show.
Okay.
I do feel like we could have worked better not on the show. Because I think that we needed time to, like, I can't be up under somebody every day. I can't. I can't. I think that I needed, because, like, in a regular relationship, if you getting on my nerves, I can go take a breather. In the house, I didn't have a car to just leave. I couldn't go out with my friends and take a breather and get somebody to put me back together again. So
Mhm.
I feel like, though, we needed that type of space, and you couldn't have it in the house. So I don't regret taking it to the next level, because, like, I liked him. That
Mhm.
was fine. I tried
Mhm.
something out. Sometimes things don't work. You
Mhm. At
know,
least you tried. Yeah.
yeah, I saw some things that I do like that I want in my next guy. I saw some things that I definitely know I don't want in another man ever. So,
Drink a police.
please, God, please don't send me another Prosecco police. Please.
Oh yes, but
Especially one that drinks too. Like, Brandon is such a hypocrite. I need to make a hypocrite shirt. He tried to put out Prosecco police merch. Made me so mad.
I am
I,
cracking up. Not you trying to get on some merch. You talking about a hypocrite.
and I blocked him. I blocked him when he did that, because what are you talking about?
You
You,
blocked him on social media?
yes, I did.
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely did.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I got something to say about that part. But to your point though, I was gonna say, like, I agree with you. Like, you don't, this is like very heightened. So when you get on your nerves, whatever, you don't have an ally, you don't have friends, you don't have nowhere to go. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, he's on my nerves and he's already on my nerves. And it's just like, okay, but it's like, if he was at home, you're on my nerves, I'll see you a couple days later, stuff like that. So yeah.
Exactly. Even if you live together, like, because me and my ex live together, but you can go sleep on the couch. You
Mm-hmm.
know, go
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else. And he could have went to his room, but at the end of the day, like, no, come back. Still don't want to sleep by myself.
I come back, I'm cracking up. So okay, yeah, that's funny. So after the show, okay, I'm not trying to bring up too much, but there has been so much drama unfolding from people breaking up, from people sharing different things, going all this. How do you feel about everything going on? I heard it online, so I don't want to bring it up too much because we don't know people's story. But like, how do you feel about everything unfolding from the drama to the allegations to this one's line? Like, how do you feel about all that?
It's been a doozy. The last couple of days have been a doozy. With the Jay and Cinco thing, I, I listen because I thought that Cinco was like, mind you, until I hear from Cinco, I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. I'm not like, but and then she was talking about like the hygiene situation. I'm short. I don't know what's going on up there. That's not for me to swim. So I can't. I really can't speak on it. But Jay is me and Jay are close. We're cool. So I don't know. I think that Jay is really sensitive too. And I
Mhm.
think that whatever is going on is, I think it's hurting her a little bit, and she may be crashing out. So I just,
Yeah, she was fighting for them from the Instagram page to the comments, baby. She was like,
yeah,
we're gonna leave together. So
exactly. And you got to think, imagine like, especially watching it back, because I know we filmed it last year. Even I, I was gonna spin the block on Brandon when I the first episode watching it back, because I'm like, oh, we look so cute together. He was so sweet. But then as the episodes progressed, I was like, nope. Mm-mm. But watching it back, no. But watching it back, I think that even with Jay and Cinco, even because she said that they broke up. She posted a screenshot of something saying they broke up even before the reunion, and I
Mhm.
feel like just watching it back, maybe that's why she was fighting for them so hard, just because that you fall in love with the potential,
Oh yes, I see what
a-
you're saying.
and to see it and have all these people rooting for you, and then you see it crash and burn, or you have to, he show you who he really is, or
Hmm.
you have to come to terms with who he really is and the things. And I think she's really upset about the money. It's just a lot of things, because Jay really went above and beyond for this man. She
Hmm.
did. So it's, I guess, she feels betrayed and she feels hurt, and it's
Hmm.
just,
Crash out.
and from somebody like Cinco, who everybody already loves. I
Hmm.
love Cinco. I loved all the people in the house. I know I talk. You know, of course, everybody had their favorites, but everybody in the house was pretty cool.
Hmm.
But I really thought Cinco was pretty cool, and just to see it kind of crashing and burning, it sucked. It sucks to see. I
Yeah.
hope that they can really work that out. But it's just been crazy because Jay gonna say what Jay gonna say, and I'm just like, Jay, my goodness. Even with her and Britt, like I'm close to Britt. I love Britt, and I'm really close to Jay. So I be feeling like I'm in the middle sometimes. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
because they will go at each other's neck back and forth, but they can hang with each other.
In the Facebook groups, it's crazy. Yeah,
But hey, they
it's
gonna
really
hang.
sad. Yeah.
Ain't neither one of them gonna get the best of the other. I'll tell you that much. And
Okay.
even it was some stuff with Brandon that I was just like, whoa. Even with that, I wasn't there, so I can't say what happened, what didn't happen. I do know, unfortunately, I believe women first. I'm a girl's girl. I have to, I have
Um,
to. So
yeah.
it's just like, even with, but I can't until there's like some evidence or something more than just a post.
All right,
I
come.
really don't have anything to say.
Hmm.
I can't. You know.
Yeah, no opinion. Yeah, I just seen that. I was like, it's crazy. And then I seen their like comments or but it's just so crazy how much stuff is like unfolding after it.
Mhm.
But you actually did say a really good word, and I think that that is kind of where women, as like we get lost in these dating shows. Well, I ain't never been on one, but as a viewer, people see the potential. They're like, oh, the potential is potential like that. Like when you see Love Is Blind, it's like women as women, like we date for potential, and then I'd be like. I'm like, we have to live in reality. Sometimes, you see the facade, you see all this stuff like that. And I'm just like, it's so sad because we get hurt. We feel
We
betrayed
do.
when the potential don't be potentialing, okay?
And when it don't, it's so, especially watching it back. That's one of the things, because you look back, like I got in my feelings again watching it back. I was just like, dang. But then you keep watching, and it's like, oh. And I feel like I kind of want to talk to people from other shows too. Like, how did y'all
Mm-hmm.
feel watching the show back? And so many times, because or you think I can fix this little thing about it. I
Mm-hmm.
can fix this, or yeah, or sometimes I'll make excuses for it because I'm like, well, I fall short in this area. Like we
Mhm.
can work on it together. So it's that potential is gonna get you every time. Cause
Yes.
we just swear we can make him. We start making up these fantasies, like, or just he's a good guy. He's a good man, Savannah. Like even I be looking in the comments and these people that all these girls like, I'm Team Brandon or Brandon this and da 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 da, and I'm just like, okay,
All
all
right.
right.
What you say on the reunion? You said you'll bring them back.
You will bring him right back. You will bring him
I
right
was on the floor. I said yes,
back.
Keke, girl. You'll bring them back, child. But you don't want them now because we don't spin the blocks. But yeah, I feel like so many women get caught up in potential, and then later on, it's like then the men get praised. Then later on, you have to kind of backtrack, and be like, well, no, he's not this. He's actually a monster or whatever. Insert your own word. But it's like that
Exactly.
kind of figure out the next thing because you done said all these good things about him and all this stuff, or you've seen the show, you're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, dang, now I'm like played myself.
Yeah, and I feel like that was the thing too with like seeing the allegations, because I haven't like had a chance to talk to him since I saw everything, and I was just like, he doesn't seem like just my personal experience knowing him. I was like, I don't know, but I just feel like I have to stay out of it. But at the same time, you know, what is that?
You're
What is
like,
that?
um,
You know,
okay, like
what's
I
going
was
on? Come to
and
the front, like, or I don't know. I need what is that?
I say come to the front, but in reality, what you're saying is like your name, your brand, like you're kind of tied to it
I
without being
am.
tied to it because of the show.
And that's the thing too, because it's just like I said, I believe women, but I feel like I know him,
Mhm.
and I know I talk a lot about he's controlling, he's this, he's that, but I've always felt safe with him personally. I know
Mhm.
that thing everybody has their own experience with somebody, so I'll never take away from what she's saying. If it's true, he'll never hear from me again,
Mhm.
because I don't play that. I
Mhm.
don't. And that that makes me not feel safe with him, but he's never made me not feel safe. So
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe she'll come out with something else to back it up, but as for now,
Mhm.
it's
You kind of
I'm backing away until I hear from him,
yeah, rocking a hard spot. Well, okay,
because it is kind of still attached to me. We're
yeah.
together on TV.
And that's literally why it came out because they see somebody on TV with it, and so
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, I understand. That's so sad. I was just like, yeah, so much going on, so much tea, so much happening. Good gosh, like it's like something new every day. What's going on? Then people are like, you didn't get the whole story, so they're like coming out with their parts and all this and that stuff. Then you see the lives with Tati and Chris. Like it's so much happening, but
Oh, Tati and Chris too. Like, what
yeah,
is going on? I that's been crazy too. But I feel like Tati and Chris make sense. Brandon and Charlie could also make sense. Do I agree with it all the time? No,
isn't
but I guess
Charlie like in her
it
40s?
huh?
Is Charlie in her 40s?
No, Charlie's like 30. I want to say 34.
Oh, okay.
I don't think every. I think Charlie is 34. Brandon's 31. I know I'm the youngest girl in the house. I was the baby
Uh,
of the house.
Only reason why it don't make sense to me is because Charlie got too many dang kids, and you said Brandon's a football player in Mexico. That's how I'm just
Well,
like,
he was. I think
oh,
he's yeah, he don't really do that anymore. Now he has a podcast.
oh, period. Okay, everybody got a podcast. We got to see what he talking about,
Yeah,
y'all.
but he had a podcast for a while now. So
Oh, before
yeah.
before the show.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Well, I would like to say thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. This has been really great just getting to know you, hearing your side on the show, hearing everything that you got going on. Is there any last minute things you want to tell the people? I don't have no questions in the comments, but anything you want to share, anything that you felt, you didn't get to
No,
say.
I feel like I ramble so much. I've said everything. I've said 1,000 times. I hope y'all didn't really drink to because that's my little stem right now. But I think I would do it again. I
Okay,
would
another,
maybe.
another TV show.
Yeah, maybe maybe the same concept, maybe with or I like the idea of like talking to somebody, getting to know somebody first and then meeting them. I really like, and to see like will it really takes a relationship. I think that would be good. But overall, I met some really amazing people. I did. I don't regret meeting Brandon. That was a great part of it. Um, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not not a drunk, guys. I'm not a liar. I don't sleep. My house is clean. I cook all the time. All of these, like these people, I felt like a lot of the comments they should write fanfic because they came up with some stories. I don't drink 7 drinks a night. That was just,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think for the most part, give me another chance. Come follow me on my socials. Come see who I really am. And I think you'll have a really good time. And Alicia, I really appreciate you hearing us out because, like I said, when we talked about it, the edit or just the way Black women are portrayed, we are always getting played. We are. Even with other Black men, I really like that you brought that up when you say you watch these shows, and why do we always have to leave with the white man for it to make sense, for it to work?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I think that giving us a platform to say like, hey, this this happens, and how do we fix this? How do Black men, we gotta do better.
They need to be held accountable. They don't ever be held accountable about nothing.
They don't. It's always preference. So it's just, I don't know. I really appreciate you giving me the time, listening to me, reaching
Yes.
out like this. I had a good little powwow. You distracted
Yes,
me from the
thank you. Well,
storm.
I'm glad you looked at your DM shot because I said I'm gonna just shoot my shot. Let me just see. So I'm glad you was open into the DMs. I'm glad that you met with me, and I just think it was really great to get to know you, see somebody behind the scenes of a show. So I definitely appreciate you for coming on, and I do see the friendship thing that you're talking about. I feel like with the women, they get close and then they still be friends and different things like that. The
Yes.
men, I don't know really too much about them, but, but that's
I
why I was.
think they still talk, but it's nowhere as close as we are.
Yeah, well, just in general, like across the board, like with the shows, that's why I thought it was important because I'm like, I'm tired of like Black women getting played on TV.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, let me watch this. I said, oh, well, let me review this because it was an all Black cast. Okay, they in LA. I was like, the house looks familiar. I don't know if I feel like they use that house for
It
other
was
things.
a love and something
Love After
house.
Locked Up show. Love After Locked Up.
Not love after lockup. It was something else.
Love? No, that's
Love
not
and
it.
marriage.
Love,
Something
Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's in
or
Huntsville.
family. No, we filmed it in
I love
LA. I
Fiance. Family
huh?
or Fiance. Family or Fiance.
Yes.
Yes, I watched that. I reviewed that show too.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think it's that house.
yes. I was like, that house looks so familiar because y'all had the therapist and y'all was outside. Yes, it definitely gives Family or Fiance. Yes, definitely. That is so funny. Well, thank y'all so much for joining this series called Girl Did You Watch? I also do review Family or Fiance, and I review Divorced Sisters every Saturday, so y'all can check that out if y'all want to. And thanks so much for Keke coming on. Comment, show her love. Go follow her. You can follow me at Black Girls Den Podcast, clearly on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank y'all so much, and have a great rest of y'all night.
Bye.
Bye.